We're going to the book of Isaiah chapter number 6. Looking at verses 1 through 8, and we are reading from the King James Version this morning. Isaiah chapter number 6, verses 1 through 8. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon his throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke, not from Winston, not from Cool, not from the cigar, neither from the weed. The room was filled with smoke. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King. Oh, you didn't hear me this morning. For mine eyes have seen the King and the Lord of hosts. Then I like verse number 6. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongues from off the altar, and he laid it upon my mouth. Oh, God, help me this morning. Some of us need the coal on our mouth. Some of us need the coal on our eyes. Some of us need the coal on our hearts. Some of us need the coal on our hands. Some of us need the coals on our feet. Walls, I'm talking to you. And he laid it upon my mouth and said, Lord, this hath touched my lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and my sin is purged. Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, here am I. Here am I, Lord. Anybody want to join me this morning? Here am I, Lord. Come on, come on. Make it personable. Here am I, Lord. Send me. Here am I, Lord. Send me. I want you to look your neighbor straight in the eye, muster up all the energy you got, and say, I can see clearly now. Come on, look at your other neighbor. Say, I can see clearly now. In 2019, my eyes was blurred. In the last decade, my eyes was blurred. But you didn't hear me. I can see clearly. I can see clearly now. Yes, I've got 2020. I've got 2020. In 2020, you may be seated in the presence of the Lord. It is Jimmy Cliff that said, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Oh, you didn't hear me. I said Jimmy Cliff sang it. He said he can see clearly now. And Jimmy Cliff was talking about seeing clearly naturally. Oh, I'm helping somebody already. But guess what? I've turned the lyrics around. In 2020, we can see clearly now. Oh, you didn't hear me. Not see clearly physically alone, but I can see clearly spiritually. Am I helping somebody today? Why? Today is a brighter day. Look at your neighbor and say, today is a brighter day. Today is a sunny day. Oh, you didn't hear me. Today is a brighter day, and today is a sunny day. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. 2020. My brothers and sisters and those looking at us online. When distraction is distinguished, we have the ability to see clearly. When distractions is distinguished, we have the ability to see clearly. Seeing clearly means I make wiser decisions the next time around. The last 10 years, I messed up, I jacked up, I made some bad choices and decisions the last decade. But guess what? Because I can see clearly now, I'm not going to make the same decision this time around. Say it. I said, I'm not going to make the same decisions this time around. When wrong people leave my life, wrong things start happening. When wrong people leave our lives, wrong things start happening. In the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter number 26, from verses 1 to 23, it paints an image of this King Uzziah that Isaiah was so in love with. Uzziah was reigning on the throne from the age of 16. And it is this same Uzziah that consulted with God during his early years in the kingship. He is known as a successful warrior. He is known as an outstanding builder. Please understand that Judah experienced economical, social, and military growth and development under King Uzziah's reign. He reigned for 52 years, and he died while reigning. He became leprous and died as a leper. Why? Because he tried to take over the duties of the high priest. Anytime you get yourself mixed up in something you weren't called to do, there are always going to be consequences. And it's interesting because many of the people we look at as idols, they started off doing good. But somehow along the path, they changed. And our problem is we didn't change, or we didn't stop watching them, or admiring them, or stop them from mentoring us when they changed. Am I helping somebody? In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon the throne high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. If we are going to see clearly and continue to see clearly in 2020 or during this next decade, then guess what? King Uzziah has to die and remain dead. Uzziah may come in the form of a toxic relationship. Uzziah may come in the form of a bad habit. Uzziah may come in the form of a distraction. Uzziah may be an artist, an athlete, an actor, an actress. Whoever Uzziah is in your life, you've got to decide on this first Sunday of 2020, Uzziah, you got to die. Oh, come on now. Uzziah, you got to die. I got to kill you. Oh, you didn't hear me. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Uzziah, you've got to die. If I'm going to see clearly, if I'm going to see all that God has for me in this year, you've got to die. I remember speaking to someone not too long ago that was in a relationship. The relationship relationship went bad. They found out things about the individual, and the person said something to me so profound. They said, Pastor, I asked God to melt the love.
All right.
They said, God, I want you to melt the love. Where the love that I once had for him, I no longer have anymore. So I can just pick up my bags and start ease on down the road. You know what's our challenge? Many times in our life, Uzziah died. But you know what we did? When we wake him up. You went and revived him. You spoke to God and you said, God, move Joel out of my life. And Joel hasn't called you for 3 months. Remember, you prayed. God removed Joel, and Joel hasn't called for 3 months. And rather than you say, oh God, thank you. You moved Joel out without even a confrontation. She just got so busy that she didn't call it. You know what we do? We start, oh my, I ain't hear from Joel in a long time. And when we go ahead and make the call, hey Joy, what's up? I just checking in. Am I helping somebody? Many times Uzziah is dead. We wake him up. We revive him. If you are going to see God clearly, when Uzziah dies this year, guess what? He got to remain dead. Am I talking to somebody? Isaiah realizes that his life is about to change. There's about to be a shift in his life. Why? The person that he focused in, the person that he looked to as a mentor, is no longer alive. He is dead. I've come by to tell you, God knows how to get our undivided attention. Oh, you didn't hear me. I said God knows how to get your undivided attention. You may pretend like you ain't paying attention. You may pretend like you got it all together. But God knows how to step in to get our attention, so that the attention that you had on Uzziah is no longer on Uzziah, and your attention is now back on God. Am I helping somebody today? So my earthly gods, they have to die. On this first Sunday of 2020, say my earthly gods have to die. Oh, come on, say it like you mean it. My earthly gods have to die. Oh, they don't only have to die, they got to remain dead. Now look at verse number 2. It says, above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain, meaning with 2, he covered his face. With 2, he covered his feet. And with 2, he flew. The 2 wings that covered the eyes of the seraphim was symbolic of covering himself, that he did not want to be seen, or covering himself because he could not behold the glory of God. I pray that in 2020 we will come to the point where we cover our faces, where we don't want to be seen, where we don't want to be in the limelight, where the camera doesn't always have to be on you, where you're willing to say, God, cover my face, God. It's not me, but it's you. 2, he covered his face, and with 2, he covered his feet. Not wanting his service to be seen.
Yes, come on, tell it.
Am I helping somebody? Symbolic of his unworthiness. Why? Because birds are known to have dirty feet. He realized he's coming into the presence of God. And as he comes into the presence of God, he's coming in, covering his face, because he's not seeking attention. The seraphim doesn't want to be seen. The seraphim is acknowledging he's in the presence of God. The seraphim is acknowledging not only he's in God's presence, but he's acknowledging, I don't want my feet to be seen. I don't want my service to be seen. So nobody got to know what I'm doing at the church. Nobody got to know what I'm doing in ministry. Nobody got to know how I help so, or I help Jane, or I help Sally. Nobody got to know what's going on. Come on. Cherubims were below the throne of God. And cherubims were the method of transportation. But seraphims, these were the holy, angelic, morally perfect, pure creatures. Their job was to offer praise to God. Cherubims, transportation. Seraphims, praise and glory to God. Now, please understand, the word seraphim is derived from the word that means burn. These seraphims are little lower than God. Didn't puff up themselves. They had grandeur. Come on now. They had grandeur. Why? Listen, those that serve the president, that's a prestigious office.
Yes, it is.
You're close to him. You hear everything. What benefits him? Most cases benefit you. Because if you're going out to eat and eating a nice meal, they're going to take some turns and make sure you eat a nice, am I helping somebody? You eat a nice meal too. So guess what? If you're hanging around the right folks, it is impossible for things not to go right when you hang around right people. The same way when we hang around wrong people, wrong things happen. When we hang around the right people, the right things happen in our lives. These seraphims, they are not puffed up. They are not arrogant. Am I helping somebody? So despite they are grandeur, they are anointed, they are worshiping, they don't have a desire to become like God. They understood the meaning of humility. Oh God, in 2020, help me to understand the meaning of humility. Thank you, God. Despite their grandeur, despite their position, they teach us how to worship. God teach George how to worship in 2020. Oh God, I want when I show up, I don't need the worship team to try to prime my pump. I don't need them to have to sing all sorts of songs and to beg me to lift my hands and to praise God. But God, because I know how awesome you are, I'm just going to worship you. I'm not worrying about who is standing on my left, who is standing on my right, who is in front of me, who is behind me. Lord, all I desire is to worship you and to worship you in spirit and in truth. Do I have anybody in the house who wants to join me in worshiping God in spirit and in truth in 2020? And one cried unto the other and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is filled with his glory. And all they sang was holy, holy, holy. The whole earth is filled with his holy, holy. Oh God, help us. You see, we want worship, but we don't want holiness. Oh yes, we want holy. You want to live how you want to live, they sang holy, holy, holy. And listen, look at it, look at it. They had an experience with God.
Yes.
Why aren't we having awesome experiences with God? Huh? Are you satisfied? Listen, we hear about Pentecost.
Yes.
What happened in Acts chapter number 2 or 3, I believe it is. And you're telling me that what happened in the book of Acts, we can't experience today? You're telling me that I can't be driving in the presence of the Lord, just engulf my car? You're telling me I can't be laying on my bed and the presence of the Lord just coming into my room and I just start worshiping him, that my children got to come downstairs and wonder Daddy has lost his mind? You know why? Because we really don't have a burning desire for his presence. We are content with where we are. We are satisfied. Listen, you're okay. Listen, you have accepted the status quo. But guess what? As we are going into this next decade, I refuse to accept the status quo. I want to see what was prophesied by Joel manifest in the last days. I shall pour out my spirit upon all, I'm helping somebody, upon all flesh. I want to experience God's presence. Is there anybody in the building who want to experience God's presence? Can I tell you why many people don't want to experience it? Because you cannot stay the same if you have experienced God's presence. I didn't say emotionalism. I didn't say falling out in the spirit. I didn't say speaking in tongues. I didn't say theatrics. I didn't say theatrics. When you have experienced the presence of God, there is a change that happened in your life. Oh, I'm helping somebody. Look at your neighbor. Say there's a change that happened in your life. Look at what happens in the presence. The word says the posts of the door moved.
Come on now.
What was spiritual impacted the physical.
Yes.
If we are so filled,
My God.
why nobody's life is being impacted?
Come on.
Why you can't impact nobody on the job? You can't impact your friends. You can't impact your relatives. Listen, they're in God's presence. And the word says the doorpost moved. Moved where? At the voice of him that cried. And not only that, there were some signs.
Yes.
Because there was smoke all over.
Yes.
Not cool. Huh? Then they have to say, would you please put the cigarettes out? Huh? The presence of the Lord had filled the room. Now, there is something I want you to understand, and this is how you're going to be able to tell if someone is in God's presence. Because God's presence doesn't warrant attention.
Yes.
God's presence warrants introspection.
All right.
God's presence doesn't warrant attention. God's presence warrants introspection. Why? Look at what Isaiah said. He said, woe is me. Am I helping somebody? You see, too long we have been blaming everybody for the things we've been through. It's my mother's fault. It's my father's fault. It's my auntie's fault. It's my husband's fault. It's my wife's fault. It's my Uncle Tutu or Auntie Bibi. We blame everybody. We blame our boo and we blame our coo. It's time to stop and do some introspection. Say, God, I'm taking ownership for the decisions and the actions that I've done. In other words, own it. Look at your neighbor and say, own it. Own it. if you are going to see the glory of God in 2020, own it. He says, woe is me, for I am a man who like to cuss. Lord, I can't start a sentence and finish it without those 4-letter words. That's what Isaiah was saying. Huh? He's saying I'm a cursor. Help me. Lord, I'm covetous. Help me. I'm lustful. Help me. Walls, I'm talking to you. I can't tell the truth if you pay me. Help me, Lord. I'm deceitful. Help me, Lord. I'm stingy. Help me, Lord. I'm a phony. Help me to be real. McDonald's ain't coming. You want to act like you're Oprah Winfrey. Give me a break. Walls, I'm talking to you. It's a new year. It's a new decade. I don't need your approval. Go ahead, leave. If you don't like it, go ahead. You're free. If you're watching us via stream, turn it off. Help yourself. He says, woe is me, for I am a man of unclean lips. And he goes on to say, listen, and I dwell among people of unclean lips. So you know what that tells me? We hang around people of our kind. I ain't got to wonder about you. You hanging out with the gossipers? That's where you are. You're hanging out with the pimps? That's where you are. You're hanging out with those that like to drink? Why? We hang out with our kind. Woo! Boy, the room is quiet. I can't get no amen, no hallelujah. Lord, I'm so happy you gave me this word and it ministered to me that their faces don't scare me at all. He says, woe is me, for I'm a man of unclean lips and I dwell among people that have unclean. Oh, God, help me. I've got to take personal responsibility for my actions in 2020. I told you already, I don't like to be corrected. I don't like when I'm preaching and we go home that my grammar is the topic of the lunch table. So rather than you thinking about how impactful the message word was, you have to say, Dad, when you use this word out of context or you didn't pronounce it properly. And the average person who doesn't want to take introspection will turn it. And the reason why, you know the reason we can't see ourselves? Because we're too busy seeing everybody else. You can't see yourself. Why? You're too busy seeing. I know that some of you are sitting in here and to you this message isn't for you. You're saying, oh, this message is not for me to do. You're looking over in the corner of where you believe the message is for, but you just don't believe it's on you. But if you would be like Isaiah this morning and say, woe is me! I want in 2020 for each one of us to realize that none of us are perfect, but we're being perfected. Every day that should come out of your mouth, I'm not perfect, but I'm being perfected. I'm not perfect, but I'm being, or I'm helping somebody. I'm not perfect, but I'm being perfected. But how are you being perfected? I'm so happy you are. You see, yesterday when I realized I made a mistake, I made a bad choice, I made a bad decision, I'm going to fix it tomorrow and not make the same decision I made tomorrow that I made yesterday. That shows that I'm being perfected. Well, I'm helping somebody today. George ain't perfect, but I'm being perfected. If there anybody else who would say, I'm not perfect this morning, Pastor, but I'm being perfected. I'm being perfected. I'm being perfected. Why? You see, in God's presence, our weaknesses die. When you get into the presence of God, your weakness dies. Listen, get in His presence and you'll realize, man, I've gone a week and I had a cigarette. I'm stressed out, Lord. Normally have 2 drinks before I go to bed. And I just have me a nice cup of coffee and I go into bed. When anxiety takes hold of me, I normally go into Kroger and buy about $100 worth of scratch-offs. Lord, I ain't buying no scratch-offs, Lord. I'm just going to invest in the kingdom.
All right.
Walls, I'm talking to you. You see, when you're in God's presence, your weakness died. Stop saying that's the way you are. That's the way I am. Take it or leave it. Leave it. As I told you, I'm not putting up with foolishness this year. From nobody. Yes, not even you all. Nobody. It's a new decade. Not putting up with foolishness. I'm going to tell you like I see it.
Yeah. Come on here.
Wash it off and move on. If you can't deal with it, too bad. Because guess what? You're going to hear it again someplace else, and they ain't going to be as nice as I am.
Right now.
Walls, I'm talking to you. You see how quiet the place is? Oh, yes. I know when I was a little child, before I would go back to school, my mother would give me what's called a purging. During the summer, you ate all sort of junk. So before you went back to school, whatever methods they use, they would give a purging. Casserole, yes. Some folks baking soda, I believe, yes. God said we need a spiritual enema.
Come on now.
There are some things that are on the inside of us that have been holding us back and holding us down. God is saying it's time for you to get a spiritual enema. No, I'm not talking about going down to Walgreens or CVS. No, I'm not talking about going to the closest pharmacy and picking up one of those enemas. I'm talking about you getting in the presence of Almighty God and allowing Him to do a purging. It is David that said, purge me, wash me with hyssop, and make me whiter. Am I talking to anybody today that is saying in 2020, I'm ready for my spiritual enema. I'm ready for my spiritual purging. Because it is in the presence of God that Isaiah sees his own unworthiness. He's able to admit, I'm messed up and jacked up.
Amen. Come on. He's able to admit it.
Admit it.
Amen.
Man, that's the toughest things for some of us.
All right. Come on now.
Don't call you on the carpet. Because then we put up the defense mechanism.
Right.
Could you imagine what all our lives would be like if nobody in this room would admit their faults? Could you imagine in a marriage that I never say to Dawn, I'm sorry, admit when she points out things in my life that's not right, and she admit when I point out things in her life that's not right? We wouldn't be on the brink of 26 years. We might have 26 days or 2 years and 6 months. But is admitting that you are not perfect and those weaknesses that you have, you're willing to work on them. I'm tired in 2019 and the last decade getting to work late, getting to church late. I'm tired of it. I'm going to start to be on time. I'm tired of robbing God of tithes and offering. My check was $1,500. And I put $15 in the envelope and said tithe. Lord, I'm tired of lying. Just own it, man. Nobody in this room should have no $15 tithe. Yes, nobody. Should the room down quiet? I tell you, I'm boldness here. Boldness, a different pastor. Nobody. Unless you're working 5 days a week. 5 hours for the whole week. When we practice deceit in small things, we become deceitful in big things. Just put on the envelope offering and move along. Tell the truth, free yourself. Walls, I'm talking to you, free yourself. In 2020, I'm saying to you, you got to own some things about yourself. If you don't own it, I'm telling you, it's going to eventually destroy you. And the sad thing about it, I realize that things I've done, if I don't make it right with myself, my kids gonna come and do the same, I'm helping somebody, and do the same things I did, or maybe even do more or worse. Fix it here. Oh, I'm helping somebody. Now, look at this. Getting ready to close. He admits his weaknesses in the presence of God. And one of the seraphims leaves where he is and go down to the altar and gets a tongue and picks up the hottest coal. Now look, nothing happens until he accepts and takes ownership for his actions. If he never said, woe is me, I'm a man of unclean lips and dwell among a people of unclean lips, the seraphim would just stay there, holy, holy, the Lord God. Am I helping somebody? But when he admitted what his weakness was, God said, okay, now you're ready. Oh, now you're ready. You're ready now. You're taking some ownership for your action. And the seraphim went right down, picked up the hot coal, and placed it right on his mouth. Now, you and I know, back in the day when we used to curse, teachers used to get soap and water. And you and I know soap and water was just an exercise. Because with me, I'm telling you, from kindergarten to about 4th grade, I tell you, I got this mouth washed with all sorts of soap and water. And the only thing that wasn't good about it was the taste of the soap. But guess what? It didn't change the cursing. It didn't. All I know is that when I said it sometime, I just made sure the teacher ain't around. Am I helping somebody? Some of us vocabulary even increased. Because guess what? If you hang around folk, and listen, I say all the time, I grew up around Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, and listen, I could curse in Spanish. Woo, Jesus help me. I tell you, Lord, thank you for the difference. Because the Hispanics that were around, man, they would exchange it. You know, they would exchange. And I know some curse words in Spanish would spin your head. Aren't you happy you have a preacher that tells you the truth? Huh? Maybe I know more in Spanish in curse words than English. Seraphim went down to the altar. Pick up the hot coal, placed on his mouth. Symbolic of the burning. When you're in God's presence, there needs to be a burning away of the things in our lives that are holding us back. If it's your eyes, say, God, I admit, Lord, these eyes. Come on now, just admit wherever you are, whatever the stronghold is, and I guarantee you that you are going to see the presence of the Lord show up on your behalf and come to your aid and bring about deliverance and healing at your point of need.
Yes. Thank you, God.
I love what it says. Thy iniquity is taken away. And thy sins are purged. Thy iniquity is taken away. And thy sins are purged. Listen, I have no problem with, I think, the 10 or the 12 steps recovery plan. No problem. I've taught it. I've read it. I practice it. But please understand, not everybody has to go through it.
That's right.
There are some people that are changed.
Instant. Come on.
I saw a mother change Family members, they didn't go through the steps. You're here today? Whatever the stronghold is, the weakness is, I've come by to tell you, you can experience it. Why? Because God here. I didn't say George here. I said because who? Because God here. When Isaiah recognized his weakness, and when the seraphim came down and performed the burning and the purging, listen, God says, now, okay, now, guess what? That iniquity is taken away. No longer are you going to be cursing Isaiah, but you're going to be the prophesying one. I'm going to take the mouth you use to curse everybody, call them every name that their mother or father didn't give them, and I'm going to use that mouth now to decree and declare the things of the Lord, to decree and declare things in the earth and things over the people of God. Aren't you happy that we serve a God who is willing to take the things we used to glorify the devil and now use it to bring glory and honor to Almighty God? Many of us don't want the cleansing process because we don't want the pain. None of us like pain. Don't like to see needles. Don't like to see them. I get scared just to see them. Anybody else? And there's a reason you take pain medication. Right? Because you don't want to bear the pain. Today I've come by to tell you, if God is going to do something in our lives and we're going to be able to see clearly in 2020, there's some pain that you're going to have to go through.
My God, my God.
Think about the hot coal on his mouth. There is pain in progress, pain in change, uncomfortableness in change. Why? Because what I used to do, I'm no longer doing it. Am I helping somebody? Listen, in the process, there is pain in the process. But guess what? I'm willing to go through the pain in the process. Why? Because as I go through the pain in the process, I am coming into the realization of who God has called me to be. Isaiah realized he could not do it by himself. Look at your neighbor and say, you can't do it by yourself. You've been trying this for weeks and months and years.
Yes.
And listen, we can't do it by ourselves. There's somebody we got to sit down and guess what? Talk to. Speaking to someone yesterday about grief and they lost a loved one, and they told me they would get in their shower and just cry. And I realized more and more that everybody does not need pastoral counseling.
Amen.
There's some that needs to see therapists, others that need to see psychiatrists. I would always recommend the Christian ones. But please don't think that the traumas that have happened in our lives, we could just brush it under the table and just move on. Sometimes you've got to sit with somebody and talk through these issues. Because you realize that the issues affect you. It affects you on the job. It affects you parenting. It affects you in marriage. And you're wondering why you're always so moody and why one day you're happy, one day you're sad. These are the issues that we never addressed. Today, tomorrow, mood swings. It's not because it's a time of the month, no. It's because of the things you've been through. That you never sit with nobody and talk through. Men, we too, we ain't innocent. We too. There's some things you gotta sit down with somebody and talk about. Yes, your uncle touched you inappropriately when you were 7 years old and you never told nobody, and now you're 52. Help us, Lord. There's some things we got to talk through and work through and address, because if we don't, we grow up And guess what? The cycle repeats itself. Our children come, go through the same thing. Grandchildren, same thing. Because we never addressed it.
My God, my God.
Yes, you're looking at behavior streaming. You can't just sit down and have your kids watch them whoop you and believe it's okay. Because sooner or later, your son is going to believe that that's acceptable behavior. So you're going to say, I'm going to put a stop to it. If not for you, for your son and for your daughter. So that they understand nobody is allowed to put their hands on you. Talking to somebody today. We have got to come to the point in our lives where we're going to talk about these things. We're going to address these things. Why? When Isaiah was able to confront who he was able to see who God wanted him to be, and he was able to step into God's purpose for his life. Why? God now has his full attention. And now that God has his full attention, God is now ready for recruitment. I heard a voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And this is Isaiah's response. Here I am. Send me. The more clearer Isaiah saw God, the more aware Isaiah became of his own powerless inability to do anything without the anointing and the presence of God. You and I cannot do nothing unless God is with us. You might think you're doing it on your own, but I've come by to tell you, you cannot do anything unless God is with you. When God was with him, he could see God, he could hear God, he could experience God, he could repent to God, he can respond to God. When you see God clearly, guess what? Everything else doesn't matter. Everybody's standing all over the building today. Standing all over the building. If you ignore God and time in his presence, you're scheduling a tragedy. Listen to me clearly. 2020. You ignore God's presence, you ignore time, you're setting yourself up for tragedy. It's going to show up. But guess what? If you want success, if you want God's blessing and favor, if you want to see him move in your life these next 10 years, come on now, then you've got to see him clearly. I didn't say see me clearly. I say you've got to see him clearly. Because I guarantee you, once you see him clearly, he is going to order your steps. You will never listen, you're not going to fall in any potholes. Because he's guiding and he's directing you. Listen, I don't care how many enemies are around you and you're setting all sort of holes for you to fall in. I'm telling you, if you keep your eyes focused on God, you will see